Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
And yeehaw. Well, we're glad you're here whenever you get to see this, the Southern Fried Podcast SFP Sports Show. Was trying to get Cook in here. He's having some issues, so he may pop in during this program. Not sure, but we had to go ahead and go with our programming schedule. So y'all think of him, think of Chris, who went to surgery today. Me and Rob both been kind of battling some things, just not a little under the weather. I think it's just nothing serious, but Cook's still recovering from his fall. And I know he wants to be in here. He loves sports, but we're going to have to tell. We had to move on. We'll be probably doing 2 sports shows a week now. Actually, we got so much going on. So I wanted to come in here just for a bit and talk about the games this weekend. Got my dog hat on. Yeah, 12 o'clock. Tonight, I'm just going to look at SEC football and maybe a couple other games in the top 20, 25 that I think are pretty interesting for the Saturday. And some of them have already been played. You saw some games Thursday night. There's a game Friday night and then the Saturday slate. And I think one of them actually rolls into Sunday this week because the NFL's not kicked off yet. So I think we'll see that on the schedule. So I hope you're excited. I mean, well, we're right in the midst of the Braves and baseball and playoffs coming. If the Braves could just win, I mean, they blew it last night against the Phillies. And if you're a Phillies fan, I know you love that. As well, you should. So I was going to look at the schedule. They just started. They got going. There's no score yet. Mets also won last night, so the Braves had a golden opportunity and kind of ruined it. But there's still 3 more games, and I would take a 3-1 series win if they can do it. Pitching relievers let down last night. That's just got the great hitters. It happens. But we're here to talk football. We're here to talk about SEC football. So I'm going to throw up here on, I'm not going to throw up, but I'm going to throw up on the stage. You wouldn't like that if I did that, but I'm going to put up on the stage an overlay that shows some of the stuff that we want to talk about tonight, especially the schedule. That's what I was trying to think of, the schedule. So let me throw that up there. I'll be here. That's probably best, but I did want to show you my dog hat first. I'll be behind the scenes here talking a bit, and I'll drop it back down, and we'll get going. See that big old football? The stadium is filled. The fans are cheering. Tomorrow, I'm doing this on Friday night. Tomorrow at 12, Dogs, Clemson. So we're going to pop this up. I know the writing is kind of small, but I was trying to get it all on the screen and not have to change things too much. So we do see the schedule, which we see Friday. We see Oklahoma, SEC getting going. So some of these games are playing some small schools. So it's a good chance to see your team roll up on a small school. We saw some of that earlier with Missouri and different ones as they just killed it. But this is the remaining schedule. So I definitely wanted to look at that. I really want to look at the Saturday aspect of this, and then look at a little bit of the some of the other schools from other leagues, conferences rather, and look at that. So again, first off, Clemson, Georgia. Georgia ranked number 1. Hope they can hold on to it. Clemson 14. Might be a little low for Clemson. I don't overlook them. I know my partner Rob has been saying a lot about, he was saying 16-point win this morning. I don't see that. I would love it. But it is a 12 o'clock kickoff. You see there, ABC, ESPN. Wow, what a game. Dogs bring back all that offense. Yeah, they did lose McConkey and Bowers, but they have plenty in the fold, and they do have a running back hurt, but they've got running backs galore there, and they've got talent on the field, and they've got Beck as the general there, and he's going to be fine. I think the defense will play better, and actually, I do think that's the key. I think offensively we'll be fine. I think that of course, our offense going against their defense, be interested to see that. 2-3 years ago, they held us down, but we won the game 10-3, I believe, if I remember right. Great game, very, very tight the whole game. I don't see this being quite that close, but not too far away. But another thing I want to look at is Clemson's offense against Georgia's defense. I'm really more interested in that than I want to watch the Dogs score and hope they score early and often, but I want to see what that defense looks like. And, that's an area we had a good year. We didn't have a great year on defense. We've got to tighten up there. We've had some injuries that have impacted, and some players have left, but there's a lot in the fold. But we've got to get more pressure on the quarterback, and that back end. It looked a little tired in that Alabama game last year. Let's just a step behind, a step slow. They played their hearts out, but they just seemed after. Maybe it's just the pressure of back to back and then having to do that. And that's tough. Alabama's tough. Not taking anything away from them, but I saw some things that Georgia could have done a whole lot better. And I know all dog fans did as well. Nothing against Alabama. Worthy opponent, mighty opponent. They didn't win it either. And unfortunately, it went to the Michigan Wolverines. But I do question, I still think Georgia should have been in there, not because they're Georgia, because I just think they were better and their record spoke for itself anyway. And I just think that, that was unfortunate. I don't care what Washington done. Georgia should have been in there. I'll scream it from the housetops, as we say. Georgia, Clemson, my pick. I'm going Georgia, not just because I like them. I think they're a better team. But I don't like the 12 o'clock start. I've mentioned that. These things players can be a little lethargic early like that. It's going to be really, it's going to be in the dome, which is good, or in the, inside. I guess they'll have it. I don't know if they have that open or closed, but, it won't be quite out in all the, the heat and stuff, hopefully. But I don't know if there's any rain scheduled or not. But it is in Atlanta. We're claiming that as home turf, even though Atlanta, I'd rather it be in Athens, but that is what it is. But I'll take the Dogs. Vanderbilt, West Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt's done some things. They're doing a lot of things with their stadium and all their athletic buildings and stuff. We saw that last year. It wasn't finished. They were had cranes holding things up, but they're finally spending a lot of money in Vanderbilt. And I can see this, them, they're not going to win. They're not going to be in the playoffs, but you know what? Vanderbilt needs to play better. We don't like that just to be somebody walking all over them every week. They need to stand up. I'm going to take Virginia Tech here, though. I just think they're probably a little bit better. But this is one of those games I'm going to check in on. Another 12 o'clock start. And I said ESPN Plus on Georgia. I'll be watching ABC, but ESPN on that one. Be flipping over there seeing it. Then another one, SEC Network, 12:45. Local connection here, UTC as we call them, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, Nooga Strong. Up at the Big K, Knoxville. I don't think anybody. Chattanooga's a good team. I don't think they're going to beat them. Although we'd love it down here in North Georgia. But Tennessee, we'll see. This quarterback's brought a lot of excitement. They've been recruiting well. Let's see if they're working on getting depth on that team. They got Boo Carter. They're excited about it and his speed and what he can bring, and we'll see what they got. It's a good early game. This is one of those where it could probably be maybe a little close to a quarter and a half, and then Tennessee's they're probably gonna end up blowing them out. So I could see that. Colorado State at Texas. Former Bobo went up Colorado State there for a while. Didn't work out. They've been trying to build that program up. It's a game check. Gets a chance to play against a great team, and Texas is great. And we'll get to see what kind of things they got going there as Ewers and all the returning fold there. Does Arch Manning see the field this year? A lot of talk about that. This could be a game where you could see him see the field in the second half. Interesting. I'm interested. I'll be checking in there a little later. Game 3:30 ESPN. And then a really great matchup in the state of Florida, Miami and Florida. And, Florida, what has happened to them? I'm not a Florida fan. But, man, you go back to the days of Spurrier and even right after that for a time. Their offense was incredible through the air. That just an air raid. Played great defense, and it obviously worked well for them. Miami, does Miami win this game? It's at Florida, 3:30. Miami's been improving. This is one of those games where I don't know. They've got Miami ranked up there. But Florida's right there too. They've got a lot of talent. This is a toss up for me. I'm actually going to give Florida. I'm going to give Florida a slight edge being at home, slight, because they're in a swamp. I'm just not sure where Miami's at right now. I'm not enamored with Florida's quarterback. He's serviceable. He has his moments, but he also has bad moments. But can Florida really utilize all that talent? This is an important year for the coach there. He's a good guy. He's a good coach. I don't know what's happened there. Florida's just, I don't know. It's just one after another. The coaches go there. They still bring in all this talent, and it just doesn't happen. What's going on with Florida? A toss-up for me. I give Florida a slight edge. I'm not even going field goal. I'm going to go 1 point. True toss-up. Old Dominion at South Carolina. South Carolina trying to continue their growing back. And, their coach, his dad, legend, and he's a Beamer, and Beamer Jr. He's trying to make a name for himself over in South Carolina. He's put in some nice pieces. They haven't been able to put it all together. But I got to tell you, his press conferences are the bomb. He gets mad really easy after a loss, even losses that he's one of those coaches that, I get it. You say we can win every game, and you go in thinking you can win, but surely you don't want to go in thinking you're going to lose. But you got to be a realist, and he does not like the questioning. He gets very defensive in his press conferences, and there's been a few of them he's kind of lost it. He's got to really rein that in. He needs to go to and I know Saban could be snarky in some of those. He sure could. But he needs to go to Saban's coaching school. Maybe Saban will take him under his wing. I don't know if Beamer can be held in. I think he's going to be that Spurrier type when he wins. He's really going to he's going to talk. He's a talker. He's cocky. He's not like his dad in a lot of ways. He is in some ways, but not like his dad to me. South Carolina wins this game, though. He gets a win. The afternoon game there. Let's see what they look like. Eastern Kentucky at Mississippi State. Don't see much happening here either. Mississippi State should win. The Mississippi two big schools will roll. Ole Miss is going to roll over Furman without a doubt to me. But they're fun games to watch. They're fun games to watch, no doubt. So the Mississippi schools win. I see that. Western Kentucky University at Alabama. Well, we know where that's going. But we do get to watch the new coach. Late game. It's not the best game on at night, but it's Alabama, and a lot of people are going to tune in to see what they look like. Really, the game of the day, I think. I love the Georgia-Clemson matchup, but I think that this Notre Dame-Texas A&M matchup might be the game of the day. It's at Texas A&M. Rooting SEC here. I'm rooting for an A&M. I don't like Notre Dame. Sorry if you're like Notre Dame. I don't. They are ranked high. They've got some talent there. We saw some flashes of them looking like the Notre Dame of old. But they're always ranked high. That's what people say. As soon as I say that, people's going, they're always ranked high. Too high. Overrated. But they got some talent. I saw it, but maybe that's a tick high. If they were 10, I probably wouldn't say much. But we'll see. Let's see what they got against this 20th ranked Texas A&M. Texas A&M, what has happened to them? They play solid, but then they don't show up, and I don't know. It's another school. All this Texas talent. Texas gets it in. What A&M just can't. I don't know. They've had some bad coaching there. It's like ever since Manziel left, they just haven't really been able to put it together consistently. They lose games they should win. And, they'll end up beating somebody, but then they lose games they should win. So that's on them. I don't know. This is a tough one. I like Texas A&M at home. I always go with a home team. I don't by any means say that. But I do think that's the kind of edge that Texas A&M needs. But they've got to get on top of Notre Dame early. If Notre Dame gets to coming downhill on you and they're controlling the ball and running the clock, A&M could be in trouble here with this game. But I think that we'll see that. Let's hope for Texas A&M. Yeah, I just would like to see. Of course, I like Notre Dame to lose. I'm going to root for A&M on this one. Alabama, A&M, Auburn. I think they're going to do really good this year. I do. I think Auburn's back to a degree. They're not at the top, but I think Auburn's fixing to really put a fear in the state of Alabama to the Bama fans. You can disagree with me. I think Auburn is on the rise, and it's going to take a little time, but I think Auburn is on the rise. But they're not playing Alabama this week, but Alabama A&M, so they should win. I think this could be the best game of the day. Honestly, I said that I'm talking about high caliber matchup, but I like this Southern Miss Kentucky game because Kentucky, can they continue? They got some players that transferred. One from Georgia. I'm interested in this game. I want to watch this game. I'll have to split time between the Notre Dame A&M game and this game. I really want to see Kentucky on offense. I want to see what that looks like. I'm not saying Southern Miss can beat them, but Kentucky's got new moving parts. They got some great players, but got to see where they're at. This coach has held them together through some changes, and they've beat some good talented teams, and this is a great nighttime matchup for them. And I really, really like this game. Kentucky, who would think that you would like it that much? But yeah, I just think this is one of those that let me take the ticker down just for a minute because we got this Sunday night matchup that's going on as well. Wow, what a game. But let me finish up with Kentucky here. Kentucky got some new offensive pieces and the best quarterback they've had in a long time, to be honest. Maybe not speed-wise, but overall, he's fast, though. What can he do there? And I'm very curious about this game. This is a scout. It's a chance for you to scout the other teams, right? See what's going on. It's at Kentucky. Kentucky's always been basketball, but the football ends have been coming out. They better not fall flat here because it gets tough. So, yeah, Kentucky beats Southern Miss, I believe. I just don't see any upsets here other than I could take A&M over Notre Dame. That would be considered an upset. And I do think Florida is going to beat Miami. And according to rank and everything, I don't know what the spread is. Or I don't really care. I don't gamble. I don't even care about the points. I just like to say who wins. And I think Florida's going to win this game. I hate rooting for Florida, but I kind of wish it. I hate Miami. No, seriously, on a sports level, just as a fan. And Miami's coming on better than they have in a while. I just think Florida wins this game. I think the SEC is going to look good this week. And so I think that at least through these games. And we're going to get down to the Sunday matchup, which is an unusual on Sunday night, 7:30. I will watch this game. No pro football yet. And I think LSU is going down. I just think it. I don't know. I know where they're playing at home. And I told you I'd always go home team. West Coast is starting to put together some power, and LSU's got to change as well. Their quarterback's now playing in the pros for the Commanders. And I'm just don't the coach. Sometimes that team just doesn't perform like they should. They've got a good quarterback. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm going to pick against the SEC. I'm going to go up. I don't know. I guess you consider it upset by ranking, but I think USC comes in and beats them. We'll see we'll see on the next program we do after this. See how badly wrong I was. Hey, it's fun to pick. So let's look over at the top. Some of the top 25. We've already covered some of it. I just want to. I'm not going to take long here. We're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes, and this show's going to be a little shorter because we're going to do a second show this weekend. So I just wanted to get some picks in for this sports show. Then we're going to do a Sunday. We're going to look back. So it ain't going to take long to figure out how bad Dave was on this. I just wish Cook could have been in here and gave his, but he can tell me who he picked. He'll be honest. And we'll talk about the Dogs in Bama for sure. He had some problems with his phone or something. I'm hoping he can get that fixed by Sunday. So we looked at Georgia. Ohio State Ohio State rolls big time. Yes, they do. Oregon rolls. Yes. I'm interested to see how good the Oregon Ducks are again this year. They just seem to keep bringing great talent. We looked at Texas. We looked at Alabama. We looked at Ole Miss. I predict A&M going to take out Notre Dame. Another good one, Penn State at West Virginia. I'm going Penn State. I know West Virginia is not ranked right now. They usually have a good school. Penn State's I think the team going to rise. Sorry, Notre Dame, you're going to fall, and Penn State's going to be ahead of you after week 1. I believe that. Interesting to see. I think Penn State's I'm not saying they'll win it. They're going to be in the playoff. I believe that. I believe Penn State will be in the playoff, and they might make some damage. They're not going to win it, though. The national champion, Michigan Wolverines. And, sorry, Fresno State. Michigan rolls. I don't care if they're changing quarterbacks or not, and some running backs and whatever else. They're going to roll over Fresno State. We looked at Tennessee, Oklahoma State at South Dakota State again. Another warm-up game, Oklahoma State. That's another school, Oklahoma State. Sometimes there's a lot of good players come out of there, and they go in the pros. They can't quite get out from under the shadow of completely of Oklahoma. So, but they win this game. Kansas State's going to beat UT Martin. Another school that kind of, sometimes you think they're going to do better than they do, but they don't. But they are ranked. So, but the rankings, you start that way, whatever. I'm predicting Florida over Miami. Miami going to fall out of the top 20. Arizona's going to beat New Mexico, definitely. And Iowa versus Illinois State. Iowa always plays tough, solid, ranked 25. I think they'll win that one. So, and then going into Monday, the second game for Florida State, what a meltdown. Boston College, you're looking at an angry team. Embarrassed, angry. They're definitely going to fall from 10. They need to win this game to sort of maintain. It wasn't a blowout or anything, but they lost that game. They should have won that game. They didn't look good. Georgia Tech looked better all over the field. They controlled the line of scrimmage on them, ran at will, it seemed like. Quarterback included. Florida State's going to win this game. I said they was going to beat Georgia Tech, and I thought they still had it even late in the game. They did, but they will win this game. Boston College is going to be the sacrificial lamb to get Florida State back on winning track. And I think that's going to happen. Florida State's going to put the hammer down in this game. This is an angry and embarrassed team. And on the national stage in Ireland, they got schooled on honestly just smash mouth football at the line of scrimmage. And I don't think Florida State deserves this ranking. They need to fall. If I don't nothing against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has shown me that they're putting together a very solid team. But come on, Florida State needs to fall. They're not worthy of their ranking. Maybe all that they did last year got in their head a little bit. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, they got manhandled. There was one play that I remember that the defensive line for Florida State, just everybody's in the backfield, but for most of that game, no pressure really. The running lanes were there. Some pretty poor tackling at times too. You better stand up. I'd imagine this has been a very loud and vocal and angry week in the meetings and stuff as they really challenge this team. And Florida State will win this game, but they better look good doing it. I just don't think, unless they somehow show up better than they did, I don't think they can handle. They're going to win some games, no doubt, but they can't. They might not even. I mean, it's hard to say, right? It's so early, but they might not make that playoff. They might not. And if I had to say right now, I'd say no. No, you're not going to make it. I like Florida State. I know it sounds like I don't, but I do. I'm shocked about this game. I thought they would do a lot better than that. But yeah, this is a great opening weekend. There's some big games, but there's a lot of games you can watch your team, kind of see how they're going to do, how they really get, in into their offense and how the defense looks and get ready for the next big matchup. Some of them have a really kind of a small school second week, but there'll be a lot tougher games starting next week. Interested to see how the new quarterback does at Tennessee. Definitely. So is all Tennessee fans. Interested to see how Florida State does. Interested to see Kentucky. I told you that. Definitely want to look at Auburn. I think A&M is going to beat Notre Dame. I'm just kind of going back to Florida. I think Miami is in trouble in this game. I'm going to pick Florida. And everything else should go according to plan, including, yes, the Dogs over Clemson. Not a blowout, but a solid win to start the season and hopefully march towards a third national championship in 4 years. That would be awesome. Not for any of you other fans out there. I get it, but Dave is a Dog fan. And I just think that you're going to see the Dogs do well this year. Don't know. If you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. My partner says they're going to go undefeated. Well, I'd love it, but they got a tough schedule. I predict one loss. They'll be in the playoff with one loss. I predict that loss is Texas. And it could be two, but I think one. It's going to be a couple of real tough games. Dog eat dog. Against some really good teams, but I'm predicting one loss for the Dogs. If they go undefeated, I'll be like, yay, way to go. We'll catch you Sunday night. I'm gonna put this one out here. I may put it out tonight, but I usually do it on Saturday night. But we may go ahead and get that out before the games start tomorrow. There is one tonight, and there were some yesterday, but I may do that. I may do this one at like midnight or something crazy, and the 4 or 5 people that actually watch this program, it's recorded. You can pick it up anytime. So it really doesn't matter when I release it. But we do have the interview for George Eshelman coming out Saturday night, so I may not put anything out at that time. I really want all the focus to be on the interview. So I may just go ahead and put this out later tonight. And come see us Sunday night. If everything goes right, we're going to, and hopefully I can get Cook back in here. Bless his heart, he's having some trouble. This has been a tough week or so for Cook. Cowboy Cook. Y'all pray for him. He needs it. And I got an update on Chris. I paused the program earlier. If he didn't notice, I don't know if you can notice. I tried not to change it much, but I got a call in. Chris had his surgery today, and everything went well. He definitely had some problems in there, what they were working on, and he's now on the mend. It's got to take a little time for him to get back, but our brother has had his surgery. Praise God. Been praying for him and his wife and their family, and I'm so happy he's now had his surgery. He's on the mend. It's been a tough 3+ weeks for him. I felt so sorry for him. And he's such a blessing to this podcast and this crew. All right. We'll see you next time. Let me get a little outro here. I'll get in trouble if I don't. Well, not really, but maybe. Hey, we'll see you Sunday night. And let's see how I did on my picks. I bet it's going to be bad. Let's see. Maybe not. Don't know.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.